Hare Krishna. Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Vishnupada Paramahamsa Paripurajaka Acharya Ashtadhara Shatasi Sima Srila Bhaita Narvinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. ISKCON PVT founder Acharya, His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Anantagari Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Namacharya Srila Das Thakur ki jai. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। वृंदावन मथुरा धाम की जय। मायापुर नवद्वीप धाम की जय। जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। अलाचवारी नवद्वीप धाम की जय। वेडनेसडे साधु संघ प्रोग्राम की जय। निताय गौर प्रमानंदे। All glories to the assembled bodies, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled bodies, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled bodies, Hare Krishna. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. ISKCON Guru Vrinda ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Welcome to our Wednesday evening program. Today will be the last session on faith, and then next week we'll do Advaita Tattva, and week after will be Nityananda Tattva, and we'll go continue. So today will be the last session, and we'll begin with the question that we submitted in the WhatsApp group. The whole purpose for this discussion of Shraddha or faith to help the devotees to come to the stage of Ruchi, where they will be able to sustain their bhakti in a safer position. If you are always connected with Krishna through service under Guru Vaishnava's guidance, then doesn't matter outside tribulations, whether it's a COVID or something, whatever, there will be always something. And your mental emotion, you don't have to worry for it, because this Ruchi state comes after Nishta, which is through inner connection. You develop a strong and steady journey through determination and conviction. So with that note, we just to refresh that to be first class pure devotee versus neophyte is only one ingredient. The gradation of the ingredients is faith. How strong faith you have. That's why we made this 4 session, to understand what is Shraddha, what is faith, what is trust, what is belief. All these words are there in our scriptures. And they have a very thorough explanation and details given that we discuss. So in Chaitanya Charitamrita, the famous verse is given by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. So before we invoke that, we pray to Srila Prabhupada, our Guru Varga, Srila Rupa Goswami Pad, and Panchatattva and Mahamantra to get that blessing. So you can join. Om Ajnanaatimirandasya Gyenanjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurube Namah Sri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Sayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Shapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Kamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanitam Tam Sajivam Sadaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Sri Vishaka Nitamsham Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Simate Bhakti Vedanta Samini Tinamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunnavadi Paschata Deshatarine Vancha Kalpa Taruvescha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnave Namo Namah Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Binda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare श्रद्धा शब्द विश्वास कहे सुदीन निश्चय कृष्ण भक्ति कहले सर्व कर्म पितहाय. By rendering transcendental loving service to Krishna, one automatically performs all subsidiary activities. This confident, firm faith, favorable to the discharge of devotional service, it's called Shraddha. Shraddha tu annupaya varjanam bhakti unmukhi chitta vritti vishesh. Shraddha is that propensity in main which strives for bhakti, rejecting the attainment of bhakti by the vehicle of karma, jnana, yoga, etc. By constantly hearing about Krishna, Bhagavatam, through Bhagavatam, in the saintly association, one's consciousness reaches to a certain elevation. When one realizes that karma, jnana, yoga, etc. cannot offer me or living entity eternal benediction of the absolute truth, that there is no other option for the living being beside taking shelter of the lotus feet of Sri Hari. Then with single-minded bhakti, only then can be said one has developed Shraddha and faith in the words of Shastra Guru. If somebody asks you a question, how do you know you have Shraddha or not? What is the simple answer?
That's such a simple.
It can be simple. If you feel natural inclination to serve Krishna under Vaishnava's guidance, in the association of Vaishnava, if you feel natural attraction, you ask yourself, testing machine is right here within you. Somebody doesn't have to check. If you have a natural attraction to serve holy name, if you have a natural attraction to serve the Lord, if you have a natural attraction to hear, you really feel, I want to hear about Krishna. I really want to hear about Krishna. You have a Shraddha and it's increasing. You have to fan it. Not too much air, not too little. Just enough that it can grow. If you put too much, it will extinguish. We see sometimes the body get built. And if you don't have enough, it will die. Or at least temporarily disappear. And then somebody shows up again. Oh, what happened? Oh, I just had a pressure, family, this, that. There is always excuse in this material world. It's never end. So, faith is a reason for reason. We discussed that. So today's discussion, we're starting from here. How does faith becomes bridge? Bridge. You build a bridge.
Bridge the gap.
Did you ever think of building a house on the bridge? Or bridge is not made for that. This sadhana bhakti, this human life, is a bridge. Don't try to settle there. You're supposed to cross. I mean, I don't think anybody built a house on the bridge, but a lot of people, they do. They come to the movement and they think they want to just enjoy this life, enjoy a little bit, slowly. Or they just stand on the bridge for a long time. They forgot to go home. Build is not a for permanent place. It's made human body, this body is given just to cross, get out of material, three modes to pure goodness. So, this is a very nice. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Shri Krishna says, Maya dakshana prakriti shvetesha characharam hetunanena kuntaya jagadbhi parivartate. Working under my direction. Who? This material nature. Don't fight with Maya, don't fight with your own mind. And this is one mistake even devotee does. Lot of. Engage Maya to fight for you, not you fight the Maya. It's like a wrong way of. And in my life, I also noticed that. When you fight with your own self, you're like a long way to. If you really think, if you really understand the three modes of material nature, it's like a shackled you. And the person who shackled you, your hand and legs are tied, but you're trying to yell to that guy and trying to punch with them. Is that a good idea? No? Why?
It causes more trouble.
It does not help.
You might punch yourself.
That's not intelligent. So long we are conditioned, three modes shackled, we should not fight with Maya. It's a worst thing we can do.
It's a losing option.
Thank you. It's very thoughtful. Very good. It is not a good idea. So what should we do? Just be resistible, nice, even though it's painful when you're shackled. Then maybe chances is there, some loosen of the shackles will be there, you will be relaxing. So Bhagavad Gita, this verse, Maya dakshana prakriti shvetesha characharam, it says the material nature works under the supervision of the ultimate reality, Krishna. Consider what science does when it cannot discern the order in a particular natural phenomenon. It still perseveres in its quest for order with the faith that some deeper order may be uncovered by further research. We need a similar faith when we cannot make sense of why things happen in a particular way in my life or in the society. Why? Say bad things sometimes happen to a good people, we generally say. By remembering that our reason is finite, whereas Krishna's reason is infinite. We can acknowledge that our reason may not always fathom his reason. Because you have an idea about your past life. Say you are 30 years old. You have an experience of 30 years. And you're planning your future by experience from 30 years. Try to grasp it. It's very simple. But Krishna sees your future. He can see your future. And he's planning your presence. So it will not match. And you are trying to accuse, this bhakti is not working. I'm chanting for decades, it's not working. Are Baba, the subtle body already changed. You cannot see it. You follow? He sees the future. Where is the proof? Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says this. Samaham titani vartamanani charjana vedaham samatitani. Krishna says, I know. Vedaham samatitani vartamanani charjana bhavishyani cha bhutani mantu vedana prasthana. Krishna says, I see the future of you, your future. You cannot see. So whatever you're going through, sanctioned by me, tolerate and appreciate. Oh, it's hard. Yes, it is easy if you can trust, if you have a faith that whatever is going through, Guru and Krishna will look in my best interest. I cannot see it. So this is important. Does this mean that we reject our reason? Not at all. As Krishna has given us our reason, we are meant to use it in a mood of service to him, to understand things as much as possible. But when we cannot understand, we need the faith that he has a plan and a purpose. With such faith, when we stick to our God-given purpose of serving him, we eventually discern his sublime plan for our ultimate well-being. That's why that verse, Maya Dakshana Prakriti Shweta Characharam, indicates that faith opens the door to knowledge. Thus, faith bridges the gap between our finite reason and Krishna's infinite reason. You understand that? We cannot see our future, but Krishna can see. So he's planning, but I am planning, my plan and his plan is not sometimes opposite, sometimes maybe parallel. So when it is not matching, what should we do? Faith, trust. The faith will take us there. Very good, you got it. Some people feel that faith and reason are incompatible. They argue that those who have faith in God are not thinking rationally. And those who think rationally cannot have faith in God. We think like this. It's not just I wrote it. We thought about it a lot deep. To support this, they cite the many irrational, superstitious that are practiced in the name of religious faith. That's true. Especially the big religion in this world. Yes, much that goes on in the name of religion may not stand the scrutiny of reason, but that does not mean reason has all the answers. In fact, reason cannot explain its own explanatory power. By thinking rationally, we may find sensible explanation for many things. But why should things be reasonable? Ask this question. I thought a lot, 2 o'clock in the morning, I was just thinking, why? You see, you look at outside this Alacho area, and you think, why should things be reasonable? Because skeptics take pride in science capacity to discover the rational order of things. But why should there be rational order to things? Even more fundamentally, why should our mind have a capacity to think rationally? Ask yourself, think for a few minutes, and actually what you do all day, you'll see you are doing actually rationally. Why should our mind have a capacity to think rationally, and why should there exist in nature a corresponding rational order? Just before I came, I was checking on my iPhone, today's weather, tomorrow's weather, next day weather. Isn't it rational? Think, very good.
What's wrong with that?
Yeah, I'm not saying, I'm just taking an example. Foundational to scientific progress is the assumption that there exists a rational order in nature that our reason-driven research can uncover. An assumption is essentially just another word for faith. Thus, faith is the reason for reason. Got it? And if you want to know, you can read that sloka in Bhagavad Gita 4.39. It's very nice.
What is it?
4.39. Mayadakshana prakriti shveteshwaracharya. Prabhupada quote this lot. Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur gave a lot of inner thought about this. So with such commitment, we can discover and delight in the Supreme Intelligence that is the source, sustainer, summit of all reason. Can I practice bhakti? You know, bhakti word? We put that question. Bhakti means enjoying in life without having faith? Sure. You don't need a faith to make money. You just work hard, generally they think. Or steal some way you can just find to make money. But can you have a faith? Or can I practice bhakti without having faith? They're two different. Bhakti and bhakti are not same. It's like a little trapping question. 1728. I like the purport there, Prabhupada writes. It's the same element, same substance when we enter into Guru Diksha, initiation. The Guru gives you an elements called Seva Vasana Bija. Means the wood has a fire elements, and Guru gives you outside fire. But if you take the wood in a sawing mill and turn into dust, you'll never see the fire element. You can try anyway until outside fire comes and it ignites the fire in the wood. Then you take the outside fire, you see the wood has itself retained so much fire that it burned itself. You follow? So Seva Vasana Beach, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes that it has a two manifestation. One is, do you feel some faith developing towards the word of the sadhu, towards the word of the Shastra, and the word of Krishna? Do you see within you? If it is not, then the initiation is not acting. It's just an event. Diksha is not an event, but it begins with event. You know, there's a fire sacrifice. I throw some grain, chanted some mantra. Now I'm liberated. No, it says you have to surrender in order to have that liberation. We're conscious being. Just by throwing, that began with it, but that doesn't mean I'm instantly liberated. You can, if you surrender. Proportion to you surrender, you come to the doorsteps of pure bhakti. You know, doorsteps. Just like this Mataji opened the door for me, but we can stay outside if she didn't open the door. We're stuck. So similarly, you come to bhakti door of bhakti, the proportion to you surrender. So that surrender also eternal.
Can you give an example of like a little deeper of surrender? Because sometimes it sounds like a negative word, surrender. Or some people will take it as a negative word, meaning like, they're giving up something, or like they think that they're giving up their own self or something.
I also have that. I can relate. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is very kind. He wrote a whole song on this one verse of surrender. The verse is from Hari Bhakti Vilas. Also Padma Pran gives the details. Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote a song. The verse of surrender has a 6 folds. Anukullasya sankalpa pratikulasya varjanam. Rakshayati iti vishwasya goptitte varanam tatha. You heard this, no? You heard that verse, Prabhu? Then take a pen and paper, you write. You want to learn, you have to make those notes. These are important. This has to stay with you. Whether you are driving or working, this verse has to stay with you. You have to chew those. What does that mean? So there are 6 folds to make the surrender effective and impacting to impact and effect to you. Consciousness has to have an effect and impact. 2 ways. One is your intention has a 2, that your commitment, if you don't have a commitment, your intention is not pure. If the intention to surrender is not made a commitment, yes, I'm going to chant 16 now. I'm going to do this every day, Mangalarti. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it. Within you, this commitment, then the intention is powerful. We say activity is good, but inner intention has to have a 2 aspects, that commitment and effort. Both has to be there side by side. So in that explanation in a short, I want to finish today's, it's already half an hour, running, time is running, and we are running with the time. Sometime is like it. One day we want to talk to Krishna about it. That will be funny. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes that 6 folds. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Jive Daya Kori. In that verse, he explains this, the 6 folds, and you can learn. So 4 are internal. I have a faith on my Guru. Can I see it? No. It's only internal, is it? I believe my Guru's word. Can I see how you believe? No. You cannot see the belief that I have that strong. So 4 are internal, that Krishna will maintain me. That is also another one. For sure, I believe it. Oh, can I see it? No, it's a belief. It's a strong hold in the consciousness. But 2 things you can see. What? Anukullasya sankalpa pratikulasya varjanam. So this you have to write in your throat. Remember it. Willingness to bring pleasure to Guru Krishna. What can I do today, right now? And you are also willing to give up something, so that will Give up something means I don't want to hear anything else. I don't want to think anything else. I want to hear about this surrender. So you have to have a negative and positive both. Then your surrender is going to go. But in literally, if you really think, what do you have to give up? What do you have to give up? What is not belongs to you? Unnecessary things. But what you have, the soul has a beautiful relationship, beautiful service, satisfaction by pleasing Krishna. Those things automatically will come if we give up those also. So the endeavor has to be there with the good intention, as I mentioned. But we'll touch it more. So another question was, can I get love of God without faith? What did you get? No. Why?
You don't have faith in who you want to get the love for. How can you get it?
Good. Good. You can add a little more. Say the Shraddha is like a little baby, and love of Godhead is like a grown-up bhakti. So it's the same substance, seed to maturity. You cannot have a faith and Pran separate things. It's the same substance. It's just a little seed and grown up or mature. Somebody put a question that how the faith becomes a problematic or disappears. This is very important. In a short answer is, check your association. Who you hang around, who you listen. What do you think? If you are listening the sense enjoyer and you think you're going to increase bhakti, not possible. If you hear the criticizer amongst our group sometime, if there's a criticizer and you associate and support that and you think you're going to advance, it is not possible. So these are the key points, like a subtle where you can check. Then how do you measure whether I have a faith or not? That's another question. It's very nice questions. So there is a famous verse in Bhagavatam, 3.25.25. This is another slok, Prabhu, you have to memorize. Satam prasangat mama bijya samvidam bhavanti ritakarna rasayana katan tad josana dasapavarga patmani Shraddha Rati Bhakti Anukramishati. This is one of the one verse that every Acharya commented everywhere. It's spoken by between Devahuti and Kapil Dev, their conversation, mother and son, about the pure bhakti. And the most important of pure bhakti is the association of advanced devotee. There's a 9 symptom of advanced devotee. We should remember that. Then you can see those symptoms, you want to associate with those people. It is not by how they look like, they have a saffron cloth or white. No, it did not say that. Skantya Bharta Kalatam Birakti Manasunnata Asavanda Samutkanta Nama Ganesa Daruchi Asukti Tadgunak. These are the 9 symptoms. You see them, you want to follow them, wherever, whatever they are. Because that will bring us close to Krishna. But if we just go by our rational, like, oh, this is my friend's best friend, so I listen. This is not a criteria. It's okay, I'm not going to make you. As you progress further, as Rupa Goswami Pad says, your friendship, your relationship with your old friend will change. Some closest friend will go far, some farthest friend will become very close because you are progressing. That's how it is. Rupa Goswami Pad was very nicely explained there. So in this, very shortly, there are 10 things in that verse. Primarily 3 things mentioned. Shraddha, Rati, Bhakti, Anukramishati. You get Shraddha and then you get Bhava or Rati and then Prema in that verse. 3.25.25. This is one verse you have to memorize also. Everybody should memorize that verse. So, but 10 things I found from Prabhupada's commentary with Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, 5 more, 15, but I'll just say the 10 first. First thing, how do you know you have a good association to have the faith? If your minds develop attraction to the Lord, you feel like by associating with this, hanging around with the devotee or talking or serving together, I feel more attraction to Guru Krishna. This is number one. Second, faith must rise from the sadhu's heart in a way that actually you develop, you feel some kind of a tenderness. You know, tenderness like a feeling, like affection towards your guru and guru. This is like a very subtle, very subtle. It's not like a symptom in the physical, it's a subtle. The third, that you hear and you feel satisfied. Oh, that was a nice story. I like those. You feel like satisfied. You follow. Nobody's telling you you're supposed to be happy when you hear Hare Krishna but you feel satisfied. So that's third. Fourth, that you feel like some association, I don't want much. You feel like a politely rejecting unwanted association. You know what I mean? There's a whole list. We made a chart one time. And then fifth, that when you hear some of things like early morning you feel so fresh, that was not there. Something in your sadhana is sparking, like some spark. That means whatever you do it, keep on doing it. No need to calculate or anything. If it's like something making you not hyper in a bad sense, like excited to chant more or do whatever the sadhana, then keep on going. Sixth, that you heard it many times, something, but you never really felt the realization. All of a sudden it's like, oh, that's what it is. I like that. What is it? Like, give an example. Example is like, I should chant Panchatattva mantra. I heard this many times. But today, actually, I'm going to chant because it says, Adilila chapter 7, chapter 8, chapter 7 as heavy. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, if you want effective chanting, effective, like a consciousness changing, you're thinking, you're feeling changing. This is called effective changing. Means you love Mahaprabhu. You never thought before. Before you used to like Krishna, nice painting. But now you love that actually Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu. You like a difference, and then you like to actually chant their name. And you really feel, after chanting their name, your chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra is becoming more connected to yourself. You're like feeling that, oh, something I got it. I heard this, but it did not affect me. Today I just feel like that. A natural taste to do it again will develop. You want to do it again. You want to hear it again. You want to play that lecture again. You follow? There's something will trigger you. And from that taste, an underlining attachment developing. You're not even aware. I want to hear that again. Can I hear it? I like that. I want to hear it. While I dry, I want to hear it. And the third time, fourth time, you will feel like you have some feeling developing. And you are not aware that there is underlying attachment developing towards Krishna consciousness. This is a very good sign. Then the next, some of those 9 symptoms, of course you have to be aware, not today I'm going to, but I can tell you where it is. It is in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu of Rupa Goswami Pad, also in Chaitanya Charitamrita, a few places there. This begin with Skanti. Skanti Abhyartha Kalattam. These 3 symptoms. There's a 9 symptom in that. You check, oh my God, this is actually happening. You feel very excited spiritually. Materially may not be, not extra dollar or anything, but spiritually you're excited. Then ultimately you literally capturing the Lord in your heart. You're not even aware. Because in Bhagavatam, very nicely it says, Naivatmana Prabhujinyam Nijalava Purna Manam Jana Abhidusa Karuno Vinite. Even though when you offer something or you are offering the name, chanting name, or offering food or offering your feeling, whatever you offering, Krishna does not need. But here it says, Navaatmana Prabhu Nijalava Purna. Lord doesn't need. But he has a karuna, affection for you, he will start taking it. There will be some reciprocation. So these are the 10 things, very nice. And you can literally, subtle way, you can measure it. In the beginning session, I said, faith or Shraddha is the only instrument to the finite, for the finite, for us to measure infinite. No faith, you can never perceive spiritual life. Not possible. It is not possible. So faith is the only instrument for us to measure or you can say to connect or to measure whether how close you are with Krishna. So there's a question, it says, what the Shastra said. Wow, there's a lot of questions. Nice question. So I'm going to give you some description. There is a 1.4.15 in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Is the most important verse. Ado Shraddha Tatha Sadhu Sangha Tata Bhajana Kriya. Your GPS. This is called GPS sloka. I mean, my way of slang word. GPS means where are you in Bhakti path? Well, let's see. What stage you are, how do you feel? So this is a details explanation, but you can read and you can grasp your own way. Srila Prabhupada, sometime this even beginning word, Ado Shraddha. Shraddha you think faith, but Prabhupada translate a desire, preliminary desire for self-realization. Because we don't know who we are. First thing, don't consider servant of Krishna. First thing, you separate matter and spirit. I am a spiritual being, not a product of this body. I'm not this body. You really have to separate before you think of servant of Krishna. Then you come to slowly you progress. First you separate, and this works very good. This verse is very nice, but this has so much vast explanation. You please read that. Bhagavad Gita 4.10 also Prabhupada gave that verse and explained also. This is also in Jai Bhadram. This is in everywhere. That's sloka. So, because we have 50 minutes, Bhagavad Gita 9.3. This is a little scary verse, but I like it. I really like, I love it. Not like it, I love it. It says, Ashraddha dhana purusha dharma shasya parantapa aprapamam nivartante mrityu samsara bhatmani. Ashraddha. You know, Shraddha means faith. Aw means, in Sanskrit, aw means opposite, not faith. Ashraddha dhana purusha. You don't have a faith, what we are discussing, you're going to take birth and stay here. You're not going anywhere, Krishna says. You have to have a faith. Faith has its own eye. Faith has its own ear. Faith has its own leg. Faith has its own body to take you to spiritual world. Faith is so powerful. This is one verse. I mean, it's a simple 9.3 Bhagavad Gita. Ashraddha dhana purusha dharmasasya parantapa. And even if you are listening without faith, you will not get that much benefit. Can you listening without defending? Think and write. Remember this. Listening without defending. Oh, I know this. No, this is not listening. I've brought you many times example that Sanatana Goswami Pad was reading the Bhagavatam so nicely before he met Mahaprabhu. But when he met Mahaprabhu, he says, "Who am I? I don't know. Please help me." Are Baba, you read the whole Bhagavatam. How can you don't know who you are? Because the symptom of humility is listening without defending, speaking without offending. These are requirements. The four principles I say always in there. That always speak, but make sure you do not say something that offend others. 17.15, Krishna says, 5 things you need to speak to someone. And if you follow that principle, it's so sweet, actually. You will have no enemy. Okay, so I'm going to go. These are so many beautiful verses, and these are so much explanation given. And I'm going to go to the last part. Just jumping. Everybody remembers the story of cobbler and Narada? I'm sure you heard. Come on. The Narada was passing by and he met this scholar Pandit. He said, "Oh Narada, where are you going?" And then he says, "I'm on the way to Vaikuntha to see the Lord." "Oh, very nice. Can you ask him like when I will be coming to?" You heard that, no? And then on the way he was going, he saw a cobbler. Cobbler means deals shoe, with the leather. He said, "Oh Narada, where are you heading?" He said, "I'm going to Vaikuntha." Said, "Wonderful. Maybe you can ask the Lord, I would like to come and serve." It's a very simple way. So Narad Muni finished the visit. On the way back, he asked the Lord, "Oh, there is a 2 person asked me about their entrance to spiritual domain when." And what did the Lord says about the Brahmana? It will take many thousand life. How do you come to somebody and say, "I'm sorry, you have many thousands life in this world"? And about the cobbler, it's in this life, end of this life. So what was the main ingredients in that? The faith. Faith. Because when he came back, he met this Pandit and Brahmana, and then Brahmana asked, "So, you went there?" He said, "Yes." What the Lord was doing? He was taking a big elephant through the eye of a needle. Did you ever do it? Krishna can do it. Do you believe it? Thank you. So he said, eye of a needle, taking the big elephant, is passing through. This Pandit scholar says, "Oh, you are a new God." Something is very strange. How it is possible? He doesn't believe. Then Narad Muni understood, because he doesn't have a faith, why Lord says it will take thousands and thousands of life for him to go. But the same Narad Muni, when he went to the cobbler and he told him the same story, the Lord was taking the big elephant through the eye of a needle. And he said, "Why not?" So Narad Muni asked him, "How is that you believe that?" He said, "I'm sitting under this big banyan tree and I do leather work with the shoes. But I see that each seed has the whole tree. This is the most magical, mystical. How God, inconceivable things. Why not a big elephant through the eye?" Sure. So he understood. Of course, Narad Muni knows, but to elaborate and be effective to our understanding, he made that point that trust, faith to Krishna's word. It's so powerful. And there are many, actually, I gathered even a lot of pastimes because of this session. But we don't have time. And I made a lot of questions. Now I'm going to ask you, where am I? I was going to send Mother Ishwari or Mother Teresan to put that things, but I forgot. This is the verse that 11.20.27. This is the verse talking about your life right now, where you are. This is a one verse, or two verses together. Krishna is talking about your life, your spiritual life, where you are right now. Jato saddha matkatasu nirvinna sarva karmasu veda dukkhatmakan kaman purite gapi anishara. So this verse itself takes like 1 hour. So beautiful. It's about your own life. Wherever you are in your spiritual journey, you will see this. And there's a huge purport, 4 pages, so you can read it. But main elements in that verse is, tag war? Tag war? Pulling. There's once, okay, I made something. I don't know if you can see. Can you see this?
Oh, it's time to report.
Yeah. Sorry, my Bengali accent. So we are drawing something. It looks like almost all day. Because I'm not a drawer, but anyways, I was okay. So one side you have a value system. Another side you have a conditioning. So your value system is that you have a faith and you have a desire. And conditioning is that you have a nature developed from these 3 modes of material, and you have so many anartha. So, like for an example, I want to become a pure devotee. I want to surrender completely to Prabhupada and give my life. How many of you would like to do? Raise your hand. Why one hand, both hands? We raise like this, right? Very good. Then I say, how many would you like to enjoy, man or woman? Sense enjoyment. Maybe nobody should see, I think. This is a typical, generally nobody like to confess. But we have these two side by side. That's why this verse is so important. Sometimes we feel like, I want to respect all devotees. And sometimes you see an activity of a devotee, you feel like, this idiot, I want to just slap him or slap her. Wait, I thought you said you want to respect all the devotee, all the living being. All of a sudden you want to slap that. This is duality within us, you follow? It's like a tag war. Pulling this side, pulling this side. Who's going to win? So this itself is one lecture. But just to have this, how faith plays in this. To create such a change of heart, conclusive discussion about Sri Krishna and his potency is absolute necessary. False devotee may think simply shedding tears or just doing something, I don't have to think or intentionally, I just do it and automatically I'll become pure. It's not going to happen. I'm not trying to scare you, it's a fact. So, what do you have to do? Like in the first day session, you remember we asked that in our devotional path, we are hearing that association with the 3 modes contaminating and it's contaminated. So the question you should ask, what is contaminating and what is contaminated? You literally write that question and you answer. And you can text me or put it in the group, we can see it. And then you have to ask this question, is bhakti is contaminated or is bhakta contaminated? You gave a good answer. First session, I think we hit that point because we are ending faith session from this now. I think 4 sessions is enough. So when you say bhakta is contaminated, is bhakta the soul is contaminated or bhakta is the condition, sabhav, that nature that developed, I'm a man, I'm a girl, I'm a Indian or American, I'm a strong guy, I'm a rich guy. Is that nature is contaminated, or the soul is contaminated, or the faith that we are developing is contaminated, so we cannot have a good faith? Which one?
C.
Huh?
C.
See?
The third one.
The third one. You mean the faith?
No.
Which one?
The last one.
Oh, that was the last one.
Yeah, the last, yeah, that one.
Faith. No. It's a good target. American movie, I don't know if you saw it, you are a born devotee. There's a, what is that? Oh, Krishna. Charlie Brown. Charlie Brown and Lucy, his girlfriend. So Charlie Brown, I saw it because whenever my son was very small, we saw that. And he would shoot arrow, and the Lucy is asking, what are you doing? Everywhere the arrow is hitting, he's putting circle. Everywhere the arrow is hitting, he's putting circle. And she said, so what are you trying to do? He said, so I don't miss the target. Did you get it? Did you miss the target or actually hit it?
Doesn't even make any sense.
Exactly. You should look at it's in the online, you can see it. Charlie Brown, everybody knows in America. Charlie Brown, little baby show. And his girlfriend Lucy. And it's a small teaching for the children, but it is applicable to grown-up devotees, not only just children. So he's going everywhere target and he's making circle. And she says, what are you doing? He said, I don't want to miss the target. This is called cheating, and it's not going to happen, Prabhu and mothers. It's not going to happen. You're not going to get Krishna Pran just by doing this kind of. But it is there within us. Okay. So conclusion today. Conclusion is, get the imports of all Vedic knowledge. If we have faith in Guru and Krishna, your heart will be saturated with strong faith. Now 1.5.39, Srila Prabhupada translated very nice. Narad Muni to Vyas about this in details you can read. Chaitanya Charitamrita also, Madhya-lila 17.80. By the mercy of Guru, even what is that everybody knows? Mukham karti vachalam, pangulangayate girim, jat kripat maham mande, Sri Guru Taru. That verse is there, very nicely explained. But I'm going to give a little warning. This is we wrote in the long, spending time. With time, we will be overcome by our devastation and deterioration, believe or not. Because I see a lot of devotees, even yesterday one devotee died, day before yesterday Vishal Prabhu died, yesterday Karna Prabhu died. There's like almost like this year, I don't know, last year, a lot of devotees like passing. Karna Prabhu. Yeah, he passed away yesterday. And day before yesterday was Vishal Prabhu, he used to be here also. It was very nice, interesting. So the world is deteriorating whether we see it or not at every rapid pace. Those who do not cultivate spiritual consciousness, spiritual technology will become casualties on this planet and will have to be recycled. Recycled. Haribol, new baby born in the devotee family. Well, the devotee was 50 years practicing. What he's doing is again birth. He didn't finish the job. Oh, but it's a good thing nobody knows. It's just a new baby. He is so okay. Oh, very nice. But if you see the carton, there's 50 years practicing again, baby. They did not finish. So, this opportunity is a luxury. It is not to be available for a long time. Based on your consciousness, the demigods are already preparing your next path. If you know or you don't know, doesn't matter. How did you come up with that, Prabhu? Everything we are speaking, I can back up with the verse. Because it is from Bhagavatam. It says that all the even devotees, until you literally surrender and journey complete, your next birth is already prepared. There are a whole bunch of divine personalities up. They're figuring out, okay, this soul in case lives this time, then we'll go here or something. Maybe you don't want it, you just want to finish it. Do not put off your chance to work on certain bad habits for later. Honestly, I'm just asking you like this. I ask even myself that with the bad quality that I have, attraction for this world, if I am just put into Golok Vrindavan right now in front of all these Braja Gopis, I have a spiritual body, but this consciousness is still there. Would I fit there? It will be horrible. Because they have one-pointed love for Krishna or for Radharani. Anywhere, anyway, everywhere to please him anyhow. Am I doing this now? No. Then how my consciousness will fit there? I can be there, but what will I do? So therefore, we have to purify our consciousness, spiritualizing consciousness. Process works. So do not put off your chance to work on a certain bad habits for later, because you will not have time for that. Do not put off living higher principles because you feel the circumstances are not sufficient right now. If you are blessed with higher knowledge, you do not use it. It means yourself. And if you think like, okay, Prabhu, I heard so many things, and actually I make a lot of notes and I have a lot of understanding. Now, why it is not happening? Why the consciousness is not completely pure? Why? What do you think?
I'm trying hard enough.
Because we are self-centered. You know, I'm important. I'm important in my life. No, it's Guru and Krishna supposed to be important. But I don't easily take me out of the important center. This is a key point, very important. This self-centeredness and unappreciative nature of the other. These two things is actually like a big anchor pulling us down. So refusing to apply God's blessing, Krishna's blessing, Radharani's blessing, Mahaprabhu's blessing in our own life, neglecting to assist others, you are considering a saboteur. You know, hacker of higher consciousness. So I'm going to wrap up now. There are few points I made. I actually can post it. Maybe I can send you if you see if you can post it. I made a little tab. Number one, faith. What is the meaning of faith? Number one, just key point, last. Faith is confidence or trust in person, like faith in airlines. You know, when you buy the ticket, you have a faith that they will take you to Delhi, yeah, or to go to Vrindavan, something. So you have some faith, otherwise you would not, or you can say you trust that the airlines is known that they give what they promise. But you have to buy the ticket, otherwise they won't work. And even if you buy the ticket, that doesn't mean you'll reach there. You have to go to the airport and get in the plane. Then we also have a faith of DMV rules or GPS. Do you drive with the GPS on sometime? Do you have faith or not? Yes, you do. If you don't know the place you're going, you really trust it. Okay, say right turn in 2 miles, okay. You literally focus and take action on it. So there are faith on Dharma Shastra, different religious book, Bible, Quran, all these things, people have a faith. But why I'm bringing this, I'll tell you at the end. And then the next point is that I have a faith that I'll go to Mangalarti tomorrow, but in the morning when I Maybe tomorrow. I'll start tomorrow, not today. I know I decided. Just work out. I don't want to torture my body. You understand? Maybe you don't understand. I need to give rest. I don't want to be rude to myself. What a philosopher.
It really is torture though sometimes.
I know. That's why you can never make Mangala. So there is a difference on that faith. You make your mind, you'll go, but when the opportunity comes, you may shoot back. What I discussed, this 4 point, is not what Shraddha in literary means. So faith and trust, belief, all these things are okay. But when you say Shraddha, I want you to really remember, Shraddha. This word is very important, Rupa Goswami Pad gives. That Shraddha encompasses all the things that we discussed in 4 sessions. All above explanation, plus more than that. What is it? Dan means dharayan, what your consciousness holding. And also it will give you nourishment. The word da, Shraddha. Nourishment. The Shraddha means aware of Shat, means eternity. In other words, you cannot use the word Shraddha if it is not related to eternal substance. What is eternal substance? Krishna, Guru, relationship, initiation, this bhakti, you follow. These are eternal substance. When you use the Shraddha, you cannot say, I'm driving, I may drive tomorrow there, I have a Shraddha. No, this is not applicable. That word is not, because it has to be relating to eternity. You follow? The Sat, Shraddha, Sat, verbal root, Sat means eternal. Guru, Krishna, Bhakti, all this eternal. And Da means you are holding, and when you act on it, it will nourish you, nourish the heart of the soul. Sat has a sense of reverence attached to it. Sat always direct towards the divine, divinity. Spiritually, Sat means has reverent reference, not like the airplane or all these things, those are not. Like an airplane, even if you buy it, even they prove before God, doesn't mean that every plane will go. But when in spiritual, you have a connection through Shraddha to those eternity, guarantee. There is never miss. It's not like an airplane, or the machine is not working or did not land it properly. Not like this. Spiritual Shraddha means 100% or 100+% guarantee. There is never ever anything less. The real fact is that, this is Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur, real fact is that this is only intelligible, the spiritual substance is intelligible by faith, Shraddha. Buddhi grayam atindriyam. No precedents will come to prove such things. It has no other verification. Faith alone can enter that spiritual domain. Did you get it, Prabhu? Faith alone, that Shraddha alone, can actually take you to enter into spiritual domain. It is an infinite thing, but we are tiny living being. So what capacity does our faith have? Even in this universe, there is so much which seems far beyond the stretch of our faith. Our faith is in such tiny measure when compared with the infinite. So how much can we boost to have in relation to Krishna? That's the question. Therefore, why should we be miserly in our faith? Miserly in our faith means, I know, but why but? You cannot just hold on to, Krishna will protect. He said that. Yeah, but no, why here but? Because this is like a mind is like intervened. No, do not let. You really hold on to it and you can experience that. There was a question I put by mistake too early. this morning. I'm sorry. I'll never do that until it's 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Because one person, very nice advanced devotee, he sent me a question. Some people say, we live, how we live, that's all it matters. Not what we believe, does not matter. Well, that's not true. Actually, however, the relationship between our life and our faith is much more characterized by subtle shades of meaning of expression. Like Bhagavad Gita 1703, it says that our existence, this is very important, our existence, like where we are, in consciously, in our environment, everything, shapes our faith. Our existence shapes our faith. We are made of our faith. As our faith is, so we become. This is very important. So our existence and faith are related casually, constitutionally, and consequentially. This is very important. Please remember that our existence shapes our faith. I will end with Srila Prabhupada's final quote. It's like a mystical. This morning, because every day after Mangalarti, I find something to read. And recently, a lot of mystical. And this morning, I was looking in the iPad, what can we read? And this is the read exactly what we needed. So I'm going to read it to you, what Prabhupada writes. Faith in Krishna consciousness is at us. It is relevant to us right now, how we can develop the faith. Faith in Krishna consciousness is attained by chanting the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Then Prabhupada writes, Lord Krishna to Arjuna, in this world, there is nothing so sublime and pure as transcendental knowledge. Such knowledge is the mature fruit of all mysticism. And one who has achieved this enjoy the self within himself in due course of time. A faithful man who is absorbed in transcendental knowledge, who subdues his senses quickly, attains the supreme spiritual peace. Such knowledge in Krishna consciousness can be achieved by a faithful person who believes firmly in Krishna. One is called a faithful man who thinks that simply by acting in Krishna consciousness, he can attain the highest perfection. This faith is attained by the discharge of devotional service and by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, which cleanses one's heart of all material dirt. Over and above this, one should control the senses. A person who is faithful to Krishna, who controls the senses, can easily attain perfection in the knowledge of Krishna consciousness without delay. Bhagavad Gita as it is, 4.38 to 39. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. We ended very good. Is there any question on the chat, or anybody has any question on Zoom or reflection? Something you're going to take with you? What shapes our faith?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Please,
Hare Krishna.
please accept humble obeisances. I offer my humble obeisances at the lotus feet of Pran Govind Prabhu. Very wonderful class. Actually, today I had some questions, but 50% answers I got from Prabhu's class. And besides the faith Prabhu explained, actually giving me more mercy to become more like a strong Krishna consciousness and practicing more. So thank you so much, Prabhuji. And actually, you are giving very practical example how faith should be, and we can apply our spiritual life and to get Krishna Prem or satisfied Prabhupada and Guru. So many points actually I noted today. So it will help my journey. It will help my spiritual journey. So thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhu. You for participating to bless us. Hare Krishna. Is there anything on the chat? No. We have also on the Facebook. Yeah. Is there anything on the Facebook? No. Okay, then we'll check. We'll go. Where is the middle? 2-3 minutes. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namaste Krishna Krishna Hare